Welcome to the Mindset by Design podcast with your host, the expert Andy Murphy, where you will learn the tips, tricks, and strategies he teaches his world-class clients to give you the skills to dominate any business.
What's going on, Mindset by Design crew, and welcome to episode 291. Hope you're amazing as always. Of course I do. What's crazy is we're 9 episodes away from 300. That's pretty cool. It's 300 episodes. That's like 300 hours of listening to me. And if you've been around since the start, I love you. You're awesome. But the truth is, not everybody has, right? Podcast, when I launched this, 2015? Well, there wasn't too many podcasts around. It wasn't an industry. And now, guess what? It definitely is. And so what I wanted to do with these episodes is bring some of the ones I really, really like. So I'm going to call it the best of series. So you're going to get these once a month maybe, or a little bit less, a little bit more. Who knows as I'm going through the catalog. But today is a very special episode because back in 2015, Ben Greenfield was definitely still a superstar, but nowhere near the level he is now, right? Since being on Rogan the last couple of years, he's exploded, right? Besides being voted one of the top nutritional guys in the world and health people, he's just taken things to a whole new level with biohacking and experimenting. And if you've never watched him on Rogan, then you definitely should. He's doing some wild things about health and nutrition. And what was crazy is that he has been able to reverse his aging. I think he's about 20 years old. Inside, he's about 40 years old, outside or close to. But it's amazing. And so what this episode is about and what Ben talked to me about was he was doing so much back at the time. And I was like, how? How do you do that, right? And it all started with very specific morning routines, very specific systems around mornings. Now, I was on Ben Greenfield's podcast twice back in the day. I was also on his summit with a lot of world-class experts, and Ben was one of the first people to recognize what I can do. And that's why he brought me on his show. And it was amazing to watch his growth and development and just generally ass-kicking. Do you know what I mean? I love it. So today's episode's really, really cool. It's 30 minutes long with Ben, and he explains how he accomplishes so much in the day. And as I say, it all starts with his morning routine. So I think you're going to love it. Actually, I know you're going to love it. So speaking of loving it and also morning routines, guess what got launched last week? You got it. The FireMind morning and the FireMind experience, right? So the first step for you is head over to firemind.me or FireMindMe. You know, it's a good name. And I love that domain, firemind.me. So go over there and grab your FireMind morning audio today. And guess what? It's free today. Yes, it's free. I want to get it in your hands and I want to get it into your morning, because the truth is that everyone talks about morning routines, but they get them wrong. Well, they miss big chunks out because they're only dealing with the conscious part of your mind. And what does that mean? It means you're writing notes and you're doing journaling and all of that stuff. And it's great. But the truth is, nobody understands how to upgrade the unconscious mind, which is all the software that's going to make you think, feel, and act exactly how you want to each day. So imagine if you could put your earphones in the morning, right? And your brain would drop naturally into a different brainwave frequency. Then, over 15 minutes, I guide your imagery, your chemicals, your feelings, your self-talk, and your belief systems to a whole new level where you can be the ultimate you, or what I call having a FireMind, right? So that means you can look at your whole day and perform your whole day at your best, right? You can definitely add the conscious stuff, right? Which is the writing, but the secret sauce to world-class performance is the unconscious mind, and I created the audio for you. So go to firemind.me or the show notes and get your copy today. So while you're doing that, you maybe want to play this in the background and you can listen to me and Ben have a fantastic chat. And I will see you at the end of the show. Okay, Mindset by Design crew. So, as always, you had my awesome intro. So, which means you know I'm so excited about today's guest, Dan. How are you, Ben, sir?
I'm pretty good. As I was telling you before we started, I am also buried in snow. So I was out sweeping snow off of the satellite this morning so I could get internet for our call. And yesterday, actually, I'm constantly doing masochistic things to my body when it comes to preparing for endurance. So yesterday, I had a massage therapist come to my house, and and she slid off the road, and I had to dig her out. And I said, I pretty much live in an area where you have to be quite careful when it comes to snow and winter survival skills. So I'm kind of living in the snow cave right now.
That's funny, man. That's a whole TV series in itself, mate. Ben's adventures in the snow.
It wouldn't be exciting. It would be more like me trying to get warm, me putting clothes on, me shoveling, me coming back in, getting warm, putting more clothes on, and shoveling.
That's funny. Do you use it? Because obviously, with the health side and the fitness side with yourself, do you actually use the snow as a training? Do you get like in the mindset, okay, I'm going to turn this into a game? Or how do you use it for anything specific like that?
Oh yeah, have you seen Rocky IV, dude?
Many times, mate.
Yeah, I mean that was my workout yesterday. Was I snowshoed about 5 miles and did some snow shoveling, and then so cool. In the evening traipsed out to the hot tub that we've got out. It's about 200 feet away from the house, kind of through the forest, and so you go out there and you're just half frozen by the time you get in, and you get in the hot tub and your hair freezes. So I was sitting out in the hot tub with my wife last night, and she had to keep dipping her head under the water because if her hair freezes, she'll lose her bangs, like they'll just snap off.
They'll snap off.
Yeah,
that's amazing. But again, that's what creates Rocky, right?
That's right. Yeah, dragging a sled through the snow.
I love it. So, I mean, what's going on in your world right now, Ben? Because it seems like you just keep getting bigger and bigger, and I keep seeing you doing more and more things. And one of the things I wanted to ask you is, how the heck do you stay organized? How do you stay on point for a start with all the things that you've got going on and all the things that you're juggling? How do you do it, mate?
I think, and this might sound inconsequential or silly, but I think it all comes down to the way that you start your day. I think that if you start your day with the mentality that you have the affluence of time, and you go about things as though they are supposed to be easy, right? Like, what if you woke up in the morning and things were just kind of easy, and rather than hopping out of bed and like running away from the lion that's jumping out from the email inbox in your computer. So let me give you a concrete example.
Yeah, please.
So when I wake up in the morning, I do not jump out of bed. I have a heart rate monitor that I roll over and I put that heart rate monitor on. So I'm not a big fan of like the Fitbit and did I take my 10,000 steps today and all that jazz. But I do a quick quantification each morning, and that heart rate measurement is not just a heart rate measurement. It's this fancy app that I use that tells me like how much stress my body is under.
Oh wow.
how well recovered my sympathetic, which is my fight and flight nervous system is, and how well recovered my parasympathetic, my rest and digest nervous system is. And so I can keep a running score of those and know, okay, today I shouldn't do high intensity interval training and weightlifting. I should instead prioritize like an easy walk and maybe a swim. Or today my nervous system looks great. I'm going to go beat myself up because like I'm ready. I'm primed for it.
Gotcha.
So I do that while the heart rate monitor is taking its 5-minute measurement. I do deep breathing and I do journaling. I just do both of those simultaneously. So I've kind of trained my body to be able to both do that deep belly breathing and also, write and focus on I do gratitude journaling.
Beautiful.
And so I do that. And then when I get out of bed, I go downstairs and I do some very simple, like, have you ever read the book Becoming a Supple Leopard? No.
Okay. What's that about, Ben?
It's a book written by Kelly Starrett, a physical therapist.
Okay.
And what I've found is that, maybe it's a consequence of me getting older. And maybe it's also a consequence of just me getting to know my body better. But that book is kind of about all of the ways that your fascia, like the lining that surrounds your connective tissue, your muscles, can become stuck and cross-linked and adhesed. And when you look at fascia, it's responsible for things like dopamine and serotonin balances, feel-good neurotransmitters, and also, of course, your movement, your range of motion, and also just the way that your body feels during the day. Like a lot of people get little aches, little pains,
right,
little things, and a lot of times it doesn't come down to flexibility and being stretchy. It comes down to your fascia. So I've got like a foam roller, and I've got a little I've got one of these little balls that has like spikes coming out of it. Yeah. And all these things that allow me to basically do my own acupressure / acupuncture / mobility work. And so I go downstairs and I put the coffee on. And while the coffee is going for about 10 minutes, I just kind of make love to these various medieval torture devices. And it's a little bit teeth gritting, but it's also, it kind of wakes you up and it makes your body feel really mobile and ready for the day. And then once I've had my coffee, while I'm drinking my coffee, I avoid the email inbox, but I do. So I'll spend about a half hour just sipping my coffee and reading like research articles and like passive things that don't allow others to dominate my time. Right. Gotcha. So I don't do the hardest thing of the day first. I think that that is not necessarily good advice. Mm-hmm. I like the idea of getting some of the hard things out of the way earlier in the day, but I don't do them first. I don't like launch into a big article that I have to write first. I instead just I do a little bit of research. I read some interesting articles and stay away from like email, Facebook, stuff like that. Cool. And then what I do is, and I just wrote about this on my website. Oh, beautiful. I go and I do either a sauna session or a yoga session or anything else that activates the parasympathetic nervous system. So a lot of people do like a CrossFit WOD or a hard run or that first thing of the day or, all those things early in the day. But the fact is your sympathetic nervous system typically is not primed for those type of activities. And you wind up feeling a little bit overstressed and overworked early in the day unless you take this time for yourself. So all of this time, I've got my 20 to 30 minutes after I have my coffee and I've read these articles that I just spend with me. Like it's me time and I'm deep breathing and I'm focusing. I'm not a fan of meditation as much as I am a fan of moving meditation. Right?
What do you mean by moving meditation?
So going for a snowshoe while doing deep nasal breathing and looking at nature, or if it's the summer, walking in the sunshine with my dog Blitzen. Beautiful. Or going. I've built an infrared sauna in my basement. That's one of my favorites. As I go in there and I've got a series of about 20 different movements that I do as I do deep breathing. But at the same time, I'm thinking a little bit about my day and about the things that I've I've got tasked and assigned to that specific day. And once I've finished up all those things, I typically go inside. I take a cold shower to kind of like wake up the mind and get blood flow to the brain.
Interesting.
And then I make myself a smoothie and have my smoothie while I begin to review that day's activities and emails and stuff like that. And then I launch in. So every day, kind of like what's that book? Getting Things Done.
Yep.
I think that's what it's called. Anyway, so I have like a theme for each day, or what I call a bucket for each day.
Okay.
Meaning that Monday, for example, because I know Monday is just like, it's hella crazy. It's like a catch-up day for kind of like taking care of all the little things that inevitably are going to pile up on a Monday when everybody gets back to the office and emails me with all these calls to action, etc. Tuesday is a video day, right? Like Tuesday's the day that I'll shoot all my videos, or I'll have video film crews come to my house if people are doing some kind of a video course with me, or so Tuesday's all video, right? So if somebody shoots me an email on Friday and says, "Hey, can I get a video from you about whatever the 3 moves you can do for a better butt?" I don't say, "Okay, where am I going to fit this in today?" I just, calmly put it onto Tuesday's plate and get it out of my mind, because it's a Tuesday activity. So anyways, each day has its theme, but each day still begins with that activation of the parasympathetic nervous system. And the entire, first, really everything I've just described to you takes up a good hour to an hour and a half of the morning. But it sets up the entire day so that I have the affluence of time and the mentality that I am going to be able to get through what I need to get through during that day. And it also allows me to stay very organized versus... So the sympathetic nervous system is almost that nervous system that causes you to like multitask and jump from activity to activity and lose focus.
Gotcha.
Whereas the parasympathetic nervous system is more of the nervous system that, if primed early in the day, activates, for example, if you want to get into the biology of things, it activates alpha brainwave production, which is associated, when you talk about Michael Jordan playing a basketball game. I just dated myself. I probably should have said Kobe.
Kobe Bryant.
Or LeBron, or even Kobe Bryant's still now, LeBron James.
Damn, you're right.
I should have, basketball. So, that Michael Jordan will say, the whole game goes into slow motion, right, when he's in the zone.
Right.
And it's as though everything becomes like this easy flow motion. That's what the zone is. And when you've activated your parasympathetic nervous system, it's very easy to feel as though you're in that zone the entire day. And it's kind of weird. Like, it wears off. Like, around 2 or 3 p.m. in the day, I kind of feel as though, like, everything I've done in the morning has worn off a little bit.
Okay.
And so that's a time when I will step away and just spend, like, 5 or 10 minutes doing a little bit of deep breathing, a little bit of yoga, spend a little bit of time just, like, standing on my deck, staring at the sun, taking some deep nasal breaths, and then I'll go back in and get back to work. And if I've done my morning routine, it's very easy to kind of like reactivate the parasympathetic nervous system later on in the day.
That's brilliant.
So that's one thing. You get a decrease in salivary cortisol production.
So what does that do for you? What does that mean?
So cortisol is good in small amounts, but in large amounts, it causes a release of epinephrine and noradrenaline by your adrenal glands.
Okay.
And overactivation of the adrenal glands and overproduction of those specific compounds can cause you to become a little bit too jittery, jumpy, stressed out during the day.
Gotcha.
So stabilization of your salivary cortisol levels can be quite effective. There are other things that I do to ensure that I keep salivary cortisol in check. So, for example, one very, very simple example is they've done studies over in Japan on this concept of forest bathing, or what they call Shinrin-yoku.
Okay.
And it's this idea that when you get exposed to like forest, like as you're walking through the pine trees, you would experience a decrease in stress and a decrease in salivary cortisol. There are a host of other benefits, but that's just one of them.
Okay.
Unfortunately, a lot of people don't have a forest in their office, and so you can find oils like evergreen oil and pine oil. These are called essential oils.
Yes.
And you can find on Amazon what's called a cold air diffuser. And so behind me, for example, I have a cold air diffuser right now pumping out evergreen essential oil, so that I get that slight decrease in salivary cortisol that occurs when you literally smell the scent of nature. So that that's just another small example of decreasing salivary cortisol levels. But that that parasympathetic nervous system activation, that easy stuff in the morning, kind of sets the standard for the rest of the day for that to occur. And then the other thing that happens is when you move, and especially when you move in coordination with your breathing, right? Like deep. That's why I like yoga, because you'll inhale,
right,
move to one pose, exhale, then inhale, move to the next pose, and exhale. When you do that, you actually get an increase in a chemical called nitric oxide.
Okay.
Nitric oxide is like Viagra for your whole body. It causes blood vessels to vasodilate. And when that happens, you get, for example, increased glucose and oxygen delivery to neural tissue, to your brain. And that improves your thought processing, your creativity, your reaction time, etc., as you go to your work the rest of the day. And so that can help quite a bit with productivity and organization as well. The other cool thing that happens with yoga, and especially if you do like hot yoga in the morning, this is why I'm such a big fan of the sauna, is you get a release of this stuff called BDNF. It's called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And that actually increases the growth of neurons and the connectivity between neural cells in your brain. Right? And so, yet again, a good way to improve your cognition, your thought patterns, et cetera, during the day. So when you ask me, how I stay organized, what I do, really that's probably my biggest, my number one tip for people listening in is don't start your day by trying to get ahead of the curve and knock as many emails as you can in the first half hour of your day as you're eating breakfast. Instead, see if you can start off your day with the attitude that you have affluence of time, that there's going to be more than enough time during the day to finish what you need to finish, and then go about the first part of your day, the first half hour or so of your day, just activating your parasympathetic nervous system, finding something that you can do that's taking care of you, but that's also setting up your brain and your body to be able to take care of everything else the rest of the day.
Dude, that's incredible. Besides everyone listening, that's for me, it's so important because it breaks a lot of the rules that everyone else teaches you. Because what did people teach you is to push in the mornings, to do hard type of training in the mornings, then it's done. But I've always found with my body that's never worked right. And now you've just answered the questions. And that's why when you can get stressed and over anxious and you're playing at high beta in the frequency, then that's where you get anxious and nervous and overwhelmed, right?
Sure. And if you want to take this one step further, because people will ask me this sometimes, they'll be like, well, when do you do like a hard work?out? Because, let's face it, hot yoga or, an easy walk in the sunshine is not going to get you in shape if you want to do like let's say a triathlon or a Spartan race or something like that. And so later on in the afternoon and the early evening, your reaction time peaks, your body temperature peaks, your post-workout protein synthesis, which is basically a reflection of your body's ability to be able to take food and use it to repair muscle, all of that peaks later in the day just based on our natural circadian rhythms. Wow. And so it turns out that the very best time of the day for you to go do something hard, something more like stressful or sympathetic nervous system based, is sometime between about 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. And so an ideal scenario, an ideal 1-2 combo is you do that easy stuff that I just described in the morning, and then sometime between 4 and 7 p.m., you go out and you find that hard thing, whether it's 20 minutes of intervals on the bike or a 40-minute CrossFit WOD or whatever it is that is your hard, like sympathetic nervous system based activity.
Wow, that's superb. That really is brilliant because it's basically like a reboot, right? That's what you're doing in the morning and in the afternoon. You're rebooting yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is like pressing the reset button. That's a good analogy.
That's really. So this is something that you've actually put together for people for the new year, right, Ben? You put like a video course or something together to help people?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's when it comes to the new year, I think that there's nothing wrong. Some people scoff at the idea that, why would you wait until the new year, to set up some new schedule for yourself or to start on a new diet or to start a new exercise program. Frankly, I think that there's something spiritually and biologically significant about this concept of renewal and beginning everything anew at the beginning of the year. And, I'm a big fan of things like cleanses and fasts. I actually just ran on my Facebook page. I had a bunch of people just do a 24-hour fast to bring in the new year. So on January 2nd, at lunchtime. That was a Saturday. So they had lunch on Saturday, and then you just quit eating until Sunday at lunchtime, right? Which it actually isn't that hard. It's a 24-hour fast, but it's just a little mini cleanse for the body. You don't eat dinner on Saturday night. You sleep on Sunday. You skip breakfast on Sunday morning, and then you eat Sunday at lunch. You could have water and tea and coffee and stuff like that. Right. But that's an example, like a mini 24-hour fast. And I'm a huge fan of those type of protocols to cause cellular turnover, what's called apoptosis, or like a cleansing of your cells. Okay. I'm a big fan of doing, for example, some longer, cleanses to help the liver to have a little bit of a break, to flush the kidneys, to allow your colon cells to be able to regenerate some of their good what are called microbiota, or their bacterial diversity. There's a lot of cool things that happen when you kind of take care of your body, when you push the reboot button. But the fact is, there's some stuff that's bunk, that doesn't work, like the cayenne pepper maple sugar diet.
Oh, really?
Right, to cause your pancreas to release a bunch of insulin and overload your body with glucose from all that maple syrup, or another example would be what's another popular one that folks will do for like a cleanse or a reboot,
like a lemon thing. Is that?
Yeah, that's similar. It's called that one's called the master cleanse. Another concept is this idea of like juicing, like going on a juice cleanse.
Right.
And frankly, a lot of those juice cleanses, you take in a ton of fructose. Fructose gets converted to triglycerides in your body once you've had X amount of fructose. And when you elevate your triglycerides, it turns out that you've probably heard about like LDL cholesterol and how that's bad for the body. LDL cholesterol really isn't that big of an issue. But what they found is that your triglyceride to HDL ratio, like how much triglyceride you have compared to your good levels of HDL cholesterol, is a bigger risk factor for coronary heart disease than your LDL cholesterol. And it turns out that ironically, drinking a bunch of juice jacks up your triglyceride levels and increases your risk for coronary heart disease and plaque formation, compared to lower levels of fructose. So, there's all these issues with cleanses and reboots. So I did two things this year for the new year. First of all, I partnered up with this company called Mind Body Green to do a 7-day course. It's like a mini course, a mini university on everything you can do from like an exercise, a lifestyle, a nutrition standpoint to push the reboot button on your body. And so each day it teaches you one new concept. Like one day is focused on all of the different fat loss steps that you can put together to bring in the new year, to set up good habits for the new year. Another day is all focused on nutrition. Another day is all focused on your personal care products and your household cleaning chemicals, right? Like all these little things that add up. And I wanted to figure out a way to squeeze them all into 7 days. So each day you just focus on one thing and you set up good habits for the rest of the year based on that one thing that you learn for that day, or that one concept, that theme for that day. So I don't even know like the URL or anything like
well, that's okay. Is it, can they go to greenfieldfitnesssystems.com or is it?
Yeah, I'll certainly have it on greenfieldfitnesssystems.com if you sign up for the newsletter there. If you click on books and programs, it'll appear there once it's ready.
Beautiful.
And then the other thing that I did was I have written a little ebook. It's gonna probably be on Amazon for like $1.99, $2.99, something like that. But it's a collection. It's a short read. Most people can get through it in 3 to 4 hours. But it's 30 different ways to reboot your body. All of the proven things. I left out all the stuff that doesn't work that we were just talking about, and instead focused on all the things that do work from an exercise and nutritional lifestyle standpoint. I know some people don't want to do like a full-on course. Some people just want a little book they can put on their Kindle or their phone. Right. So that one's called 30 Ways to Reboot Your Body, and that one is just something you can find on Amazon. If you go to Amazon and do a search for Ben Greenfield Reboot or something like that, it should pull up.
I'll put links all over the place, buddy, for both of these things for sure. So those two like mini courses basically are designed just to get people and entrepreneurs in the right mental and physical state to give them like optimum energy.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the consequences. Everything that we just talked about, or not really. Consequence makes it sound bad. The benefits is you get that increase in energy. And the cool thing, I don't know. I'm kind of a big picture guy. I like to think more about being able to be around and feel good as I sit in the bleachers watching my grandkids hit a home run. Right, like a big part of it is not just the productivity you feel for any given day or how much money you enable yourself to be able to make on any given day because you're operating like a $1 million. But a bigger part of it for me is the ability to know that I'm taking care of my body on a level that's going to allow me to look, feel, and perform amazingly, for as long as my genes are programmed to allow me to live. And so, let's face it, when you pop like a good cold pressed fish oil capsule in the morning, you don't feel it. You don't like an hour later, you're not like, yeah, I've had my fish oil. Unlike coffee, right? Like coffee.
Right.
But you are, you're decreasing your triglycerides, you're increasing your anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids, you're improving the ammo that the little myelin sheaths in your brain have to be able to repair nerve cells. You do all these things that you don't feel right away, but that helps you to live longer and to feel better as you live longer. And so, I'm a fan of all these little things that add up that you can do for your body to help you not just perform well short term, but also perform amazingly long term.
And that's the whole point in the journey, right? There's no point in burning yourself out so early in life, and then you don't get to enjoy the benefits of your work, right?
Yep, exactly.
And yeah, I love it, Ben. Thank you so much. I know you're a busy man, so we'll let you go now. But thank you so much for today. That in itself has helped me out massively. It really, really has. Thank you so much, buddy. It's really, really appreciated.
Cool. Well, thanks for having me on, Andy.
Absolutely, buddy. You have an incredible day.
All right, later.
Okay, crew. There we go. The end of episode 291. Gotta love Ben, right? Gotta love Ben. Done so much. And I had to say in the episode 2015 that was from, right? And it still really helped me out. I really listened to it. Do you know what I mean? So I hope you can integrate that into your morning and your life. And speaking of integrating it into your morning and your life, head over to FireMind.me, firemind.me, or click in the show notes. Either way, make sure that you upgrade your unconscious mind, which is the secret sauce to a morning routine. And you can go and get your copy of your audio today for free. Yes, today it's for free. So jump on it, head over there now, and there's lots of other links in the show notes, making sure you're heading over to the Facebook group, which is Andy Murphy Mindset. So Facebook group, Andy Murphy Mindset. Where else? Just head over to the group or head over to FireMind, and I will connect with you really, really soon. Until then, much love, and oh yeah, one more thing. Why don't you smile for me?